I gotta say, I'm gonna start with there's too much good music to just stick around in the 60s and 70s. What I mean is, so many people, I know a lot of them, they're really into the bands from that time frame. They're into the Pink Floyds, the BTOs, the Hawkwinds, the ELOs. They're into those groups. The Who, that kind of stuff. And they're really down on new music, but they're also sort of, if they're not down on it, they're sort of implying that new music is somehow inferior to this old stuff. And in some ways, there's old music out there that's been around 20, 30 years, and the stuff is timeless. And it's really well written, it's very well performed. Clearly the band was very talented. There was a lot of heart and soul poured into the material. But by and large, that's not the majority. And the 60s and 70s produced possibly, with the maybe the exception of the 90s, the largest batch of Me Too copycat clones in every genre. Buddy Holly strikes it big, so everybody's standing there holding a Fender in a little, in a skinny suit with their hair coiffed, going and they're all doing that. Lloyd Price strikes it big with Stagger Lee, and everyone and their mother's covering it. There was such a regurgitation of good material, and the originators somehow got lost in the regurgitation. And I feel a lot of bands came along that didn't create a genre or really revolutionize music in any real way. And this is where the title of this video comes from. Pink Floyd, I feel, outside of the song Us and Them, suck. I just don't enjoy it. I personally will never buy any of it. It just doesn't appeal to me. And when people they get on the internet and they rave about how amazing it is, and if you're like 19 years old, 20 years old, and you're really into Pink Floyd, then your parents were super cool people and they were really enlightened and all this bullshit, you know. Because I mean, if those people were really enlightened, we wouldn't be living in the world we live in today. They would not have handed us down this fucking cesspit that we occupy right now. So, no, your parents were not enlightened. My parents were not enlightened. Everybody gets broadsided by the universe. It's just how it goes. Only assholes think they know what's fucking going on. Only assholes. The greatest philosophical leaders in the world, all of them admit they have no clue what the hell's going on, but they greet it with a big smile as a new day dawns on them. That's their philosophy, which I think is the only one you can really have. I don't think you can look at the world and think, oh, I could fix that, or this could be better. If they did this that way and that this way, everything would be better for everyone, because who are you to say? You're more than entitled to your opinion and speak it calm all the time. Be very consistent in your thoughts and ideas. Don't stop thinking. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that a lot of people that are into this sort of resurgence of basically 70s stoner rock have this concept that if only people were as enlightened as us, then everything would be better. And it always seems to come to me that when I go, well, I don't know, man. It just, I mean, yeah, if you dig Floyd, that's cool. Could you turn it down a little bit? Because I'm just not such a big fan. And then they look at you like, what? What do you mean? Floyd's the greatest thing ever made. Oh, your mind just isn't expanded enough. It's like some garbage like that. Where it's almost like they're trying to pat you on the head and act like you're a little child or something because you don't enjoy the band. And I say fuck you. Because Pink Floyd, they're an overrated band. Hawkwind did it better and did it first. Go fuck yourself. Uh, And I guess, yeah, this is a defiant piss off and eat a dick. I've really tried to be as jovial as I can about that band, but they're a band that can anybody that out there, if you know people that are really into Pink Floyd, are they sober? Do they do drugs at all? Because if you know somebody that doesn't do drugs whatsoever or has never done drugs, so we need a person that doesn't do drugs, has never done drugs, to come forward and say to me, yeah, man, I really like Pink Floyd. And I discovered them on my own, and nobody told me I should like them. My parents didn't instill it in me as a small child that Pink Floyd are awesome, and eventually I just got used to it because I heard it all the time. I mean, there's bands I listened to growing up, like Billy Idol and AC/DC and Black Sabbath, in Metallica too. I don't think they're that great of bands. When I was young, and because my mom and my dad and my stepdad listened to them, Rolling Stones, another one, John Fogerty, CCR, all those bands, I don't think they're all that amazing because I cut them out of my life because, I wasn't living with my parents anymore and they're the ones that owned all that stuff. And then when I came back to it, when I got on YouTube, when I got to Spotify, all that kind of stuff, and I was listening to music again, from that time frame in my life when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in that pocket, none of it relates to me. I don't enjoy it particularly anymore. A couple songs here and there, but it's not unquestionably entertaining to me anymore. And I defy any Floyd fan to do the same. Remove the element that you couple with Pink Floyd, which inevitably is going to be weed. It's just something that adds to it. Acid, too. And that's what people do. They smoke a bunch of weed, they drop some acid, and they listen to Floyd. I mean, go to a Pink Floyd concert and find someone sober. And I don't mean like, everyone's going to be contact high because there's so many fucking people there smoking weed 99% of the time. But find somebody that went down there that didn't go down to get high, that didn't smoke a joint before they went down there. And like somebody of a reasonable age too, like some 80-year-old dude that doesn't smoke weed anymore because it's bad for his lungs and he's sitting way up in the bleachers just enjoying the music. He smoked weed when he was listening to that band. He didn't just discover Pink Floyd and think it was awesome. I mean, there's bound to be people out there that are like that they really liked Pink Floyd, but it's so tied into the culture of, yeah, I drop acid, yeah, I smoke weed. It's a drug thing. It's when in Rome. Everybody that does drugs enjoys Pink Floyd. You're doing drugs too. You should probably enjoy it as well. And here's something else. This is the one I like to throw out at people. Marijuana lowers your standards for what's entertaining. And if you think that's bullshit, think of every time you've had a circle session where you're all passing the joint around and one of you says something about, man, I dropped my shoes and then my dog ran up and ran off with it. And everyone goes, ha 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 ha, your toe stole your shoes. Ha ha ha. I've seen it happen like 20 times. Like, everything's really entertaining when you're high. It doesn't matter what it is. You can make jokes about alligators and doghouses made out of flapjacks, and people are like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Tell it again. And again. I think your standards for entertainment drop through the floor. I don't think doing drugs brings you to a higher plateau of existence. I don't think it opens your mind. I think it degrades it. So, again, all my opinion. If you love Floyd, you love him, continue to love him. If you love weed and acid, love him and continue to love him. I'm not telling you you can't. I'm not telling you you shouldn't. I'm not telling you any of that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it's not that fucking impressive. It it just isn't. And there's nothing wrong with you disagreeing with me whatsoever. You love them, please do. I think it's awesome that people love bands that much. I think it's awesome that people love activities that much, even if they are doing things that I think are a waste of fucking time. And, well, we'll talk to you next time. Remember to subscribe, you asshole.